What is going on, everybody? Coach Ken checking in. Week 49 of 2024. I had to even just look at that and second guess that. I mean, that's crazy to think that we are here. It's December 1st, headed into the last month of the year. I got a Motivational Monday post coming up to try and spark something for a few of you tomorrow. So peep that on Facebook group and the Instagram, and that's just really gonna discuss, finishing out the year strong. If you had a really awesome year, if you had some really big goals, or maybe even if it was a tough year because due to injury or illness or lack of motivation, you can still turn around and finish the year strong. Don't you want to go, especially for those that did, finish up on top of some of the efforts and races that you were able to put out there? Wouldn't you want to look back at 2024 and be able to tell yourself, like, I finished strong, I finished at the top of what I could? And what I mean by that is you don't have to go out and go crush all this other stuff for December, but finish strong, finish committed, finish disciplined, finish dedicated, finish with a good base building month of bringing the energy down and just continuing with the consistency. It's very hard when you don't have something on the schedule. I've been a victim of that in the past as well, where you're just going. Things are working. Things are, just falling into place. You have set workout, certain metrics to hit, and you just go. And then what happens is you pass that finish line, and then there's nothing there. You start to question the why do we do this, or why am I doing this? What's pulling me? I like to be pulled towards my goal, not have to be pushed towards my goal. But if you don't have the goal there to pull you forward, are you going to be able to make those that disciplined moves out there? So figure out your why. You want to be healthy, you want to keep doing this, you want to have a good year next year, be pulled towards those goals. Know that, especially come springtime, you want to be able to look back when you come out of this base building in springtime and start peaking or training and peaking into these races, that you didn't leave any stone unturned at the opportunity that you had in the off season to build the things that you needed and put the bricks in place for that solid foundation going forward next year. You don't want to ever have to second guess that. And it's very hard to progress every year if that is your goal, if you are taking large steps backwards for an extended period of time. And now I'm all for some rest, I'm all for recovering, but you have to though keep moving, and the base building and that off season is very, very important, because before you know it, I'm going to be making these videos every week continuing next year, and I'm going to be saying it's week 4, it's week 8, it's week 12. What have you been doing? You had 2 months, 3 months. Now's the time. We're coming out of our base build, and you don't want to be sitting there going, man, if I wish I would have held together for that. Now, conversely on all that, for those that maybe do need a little extra time, I heard this past week, and I thought it was very interesting. You need to self-assess yourself. What happens when you get in your car in the morning, right? You get in, now we push the button to start the car, all the bells and whistles go off, everything calibrates itself, all the lights come on, and then what do you take for granted but hope in the back of your head that doesn't happen? Is you hope that a tire light doesn't come on, a check engine light doesn't come on, some sensor light doesn't come on. So you need to check your dashboard. When you start that car, when you're doing your training right now, your base building, visualize that and see, do I have any check engine lights? Do I have any sensors going off right now? Is there anything bothering me? Is there anything alarming me? Is there anything that the light came on a couple months ago, but I haven't really gone to the mechanic to get it checked or anything like that? I'm not sure if this is a really big problem. It says check engine lights on. I opened the hood, I checked the engine, it was good, right? Kind of like that, maybe that nagging issue you have in your leg where you're like, I don't know, I kind of felt it didn't feel painful, it's just kind of there, and well, we'll just continue and operate as a go with that check engine light on. But we have the opportunity now, because we're not peaking for anything for the most part for most of the athletes, to be able to go to that, specialist, the physio, go to your primary care, maybe get some blood work done. I said this last year. Get like a baseline, figure out what's going on. get a good record of you at baseline, a good record of what is going on inside your body, what your levels are. You may feel great, but things may be off a little bit. And you can talk to your doctor and figure out like, hey, I haven't been training a lot as opposed to what I was a couple months ago, so I should be kind of at a baseline right now, and it's good to kind of get that overall. And then down the road, when you are pushing yourself or maybe depleting yourself in certain areas, or some of those check engine lights start coming on later next year, that you can go back and base things off of where you are now and know what direction you went in with all that. So that's kind of where I went with that. And this video, I should have made a video last week, but it was crazy. Thanksgiving, right? But so I just wanted to say I'm grateful for everybody. I'm grateful for the coached athletes. I'm grateful for my training partners. I'm grateful for everybody that follows, comments, and does anything across any of the platforms that you may see my face or posts or anything like that. Every so often I get somebody or meet somebody that saw a video or a post or something and says thank you because it motivated them. And that's really the fuel and the passion that drives me to want to keep going and keep helping people of all different levels and abilities to reach whatever your potential is or whatever goal it is that you want to set for yourself. So again, truly, you make this easy for me. That feedback I get just fuels the fire, stokes the fire, and just keeps that engine burning with all that. As far as that for the coached athletes, continue giving me that that subjective data through our Discord app. If it's anything super important that you want me to see, Training Peaks is great. Commenting on that, because that lives with you. If you are being coached by me and we detach and later on you're getting coached by somebody else, at least when they get attached to your Training Peaks, they can go back, they can see things that you thought, or things related to certain types of efforts, workouts, races, and they can see that stuff too. So that's pretty cool. It's like a living diary for that. But if it's anything you want specifically, like, hey, I wanted you to know this right now, it's always easier to send a message through that Discord, just because I get it quicker. It doesn't get muddied down. Sometimes I don't see the message on Training Peaks for a couple days once I sit down like on a weekend and start looking back at the week and things like that. Especially any questions related to workouts, continue that as well on with the Training Peaks. And also it's good to, anytime you're doing an FTP test or a threshold test, just pop in there, remind me that, hey, I did the test today, because I know sometimes they get moved around. I always tell you that I want you to be fresh. If you got to move it a back and forth a day or so because life's a little crazy, that's fine. And then any results you had, or that, what was the effort for that workout? How hard was it? Was it an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10? Did you push, or did something happen to it and we might think that the data might be off? And some of you are testing right now. You're getting this off-season test because maybe we've just come down with volume a little bit. Just a side note on these results of these performance tests. It's not to judge any certain fitness level per se, especially the cycling power, because there's ramp tests, there's threshold tests, and I'll get into that maybe at the next video. There's the difference between all that. And I had a great question about running power this past week that I'd love to dive more in on. But just remember, it's just especially the cycling data portion, is just a small snapshot of your overall cycling power and ability. It's really just meant to get us training zones that will be appropriate for your level of power right now, so that we can understand what should be an easy power zone and what should be a harder power zone, so that when we do our interval workouts, we can get that differentiation in effort. We don't always wind up in the middle in that gray zone, which isn't really going to do much good for us. We can really separate the two, work some hard intervals, get some easy recovery out of it, and that's how we can structure the workout. As well, remember, power versus weight. We got to track our weight as well. So just note for me, when you hit, it says, hey, my TrainerRoad, Zwift, whatever it is that you're using for the power workout, gives you an FTP. Send me a message, let me know what the FTP was and what your current weight is. So I like to track that as well, because if you fluctuate in weight a little bit throughout the year, and it's all about power versus weight. So typically what you think you might be getting a higher power number, if you gained a little bit of weight, it may not mean that you're actually getting more power to weight, if that makes sense. So just make sure you know that. Give me that. And I think another thing I heard was this coach-athlete relationship. When is it TMI, right? Too much information. I get that. I was like, hey, just want to let you know this might be a little TMI. But let's switch that. Obviously, there's personal things that may not need to be discussed. But if it's something important, TMI, tell me immediately. That's my TMI with the coach-athlete relationship is if it's something that's affecting your training, if it's affecting your workout, if it's something that I need to know about, then that's tell me immediately. Let me know that something's going on, something with family, health, whatever it is, so that we can adjust things accordingly. Because again, I can only see data coming in. I can only see metrics in all these graphs. I can make some judgments on there, but I need to have that feedback from you about what's going on in your life. And I'm thinking about implementing a few new things for 2025 for those one-to-one coached athletes where I can have a more steady flow of subjective data, not just per se with the training, because I notice with my own training stuff, I wish there was a way to get the information in on not just your training stress score, but at the end of the week, maybe just giving me a little one sentence drop in kind of the level of your overall stress. You don't have to tell me why or what's going on. That's a whole nother separate thing that I am not certified to really help you in. But what I can know is if this was supposed to be a hard week, a lot of effort, and your life stress is on the higher end of things as well, that is going to affect how you are going to recover or perform if you're going into a very hard week. So it's going to be that balance. Again, we're balancing life 1 mile at a time, and that's on all sides. That's training stress, life stress, all this other stuff to get you to your goals. Coached athletes, check out in the group the announcements tab for some information regarding 2025, the end of season transition and all that. I'm starting to get a bunch of requests in for coaching for 2025. A lot of people are reaching out. This is the time of year people put feelers out. They send a few different coaches, inquiries. They do their consults, and then they pick which coach they're going to go forward with for the following year. So I'd like to just make sure that the past coach athletes have their preference of getting back with the one-to-one coaching if that's something you're looking for in 2025, because I don't know what the set number will be or a cap that may be for 2025. I, for myself, am still figuring out 2025. I was asked this again this past week. Hey, what are you doing? What are you racing? What do you got going on for 2025? In the next week or two, now that December's here, that's usually the last couple years my lock-in point is when I'm able to sit down, and I do have some time coming up in the next couple weeks where I will be able to sit back right here, chill out with some pen, some paper, map things out, kind of see the direction I want to go in, not just with training, but how I'm going to take the coaching and the value of the coaching to another level, and try and balance that all. I had some epiphanies today about that and that direction I want to maybe go with 2025. Now it's all about plotting it out and charting it out, and maybe I'll make a special video about all the results on that as well. But for now, I just want to say thank you again to everybody headed into the last month of the year. Let's finish strong. I started a 30-30-30 challenge that I saw that I got tagged in on Instagram. I'm tagging all of you. I want you to do that. That's going to be 30 squats, 30 push-ups, 30 sit-ups for 30 days for December on top of all the other stuff you're doing. I used to do a couple of challenges like this in the past, very simple but effective challenges that will, spark that energy and that fire to keep yourself disciplined every day. It's something that, again, as long as you're doing 30-30-30 throughout the day, getting it done at some point. If it's easier for you to do 10-10-10 when you wake up, 10-10-10 at a lunch break, 10-10-10 at night, whatever it is. Do it, get it done. I got a nice chart right here, 30 days. I'm going to be checking them off as I do them. And it's just something fun, to finish up the year and finish up strong. So for everybody who's been tuning in, who's been being coached, just keep at it. And keep getting after it, and I will check you all soon. Stay safe, stay healthy out there.